Hi everyone, I am dating and relationship expert Jackie Blake, and I'm also the author of Dating is a Spiritual Adventure, Avoid Red Flags, Rock the Journey, and Find the One. So in my book and in my coaching with my clients, I often talk about red flags when dating. So first of all, what is a red flag? A red flag is a sign that something may be a little off with your date, or a red flag is signs of problems to come if you keep dating this person, or perhaps an insight into issues they have. Now again, everyone has issues. If you're human, you have issues. So it's not like we just run from everyone once an issue comes up. However, it does help you go into a relationship with someone with your eyes a little more open. So today we are going to talk about the top 3 red flags in dating, okay? When you meet someone and when you're talking. So red flag number 1, they speak badly about their mother. Now, not everyone's mother was perfect, and that's fine. Obviously, a person is under no responsibility for their mother's behavior because as a child, they did not have control over that. However, what is a huge insight into their dealings and relationships now is how they've dealt with their relationship to their mother and how they talk about her. So obviously, if they talk about her with respect, love, caring, they had a great relationship, that's all great. If they don't, if there's things like, oh, my mother's such a bitch, or I don't talk to my mother, or just my mother's so controlling, or unresolved issues. Because that is their template for relationships with women, that is ultimately the judgments they will throw on you and make you their mother. I mean, I've had times where I was dating someone and they told me their mother was abusive and then accused me of being abusive, which I was like, what are you even talking about, buddy? Like, I didn't do that to you. So even if someone's mother's behavior was not perfect, have they made peace with it? I actually once dated a man whose mother was a heroin addict. And actually, he was born addicted to heroin. And you would think, these are huge things to have a gripe with. Coming into the world that way, anyone could fully understand this man's anger. The reason I continued to date this man is because it was clear he had dealt with that, realized what his mother was dealing with at that time, and had forgiven her. So very different than telling me, oh, my mother is, a filthy drug addict, but oh, you know what? My mother was an addict and she had some problems and she still has some problems, and I've forgiven her, and, I have to keep my distance from her because she's still, she's still using, and it's not healthy for me to be around, and I don't want to enable it, but that's my mother and I love and respect her. A man does not have to respect his mother's behavior. He has to respect that she is the one that gave him life and she's his mother. To disrespect one's mother is to disrespect oneself, because that's how we got on the earth in the first place. So, red flag number 1, speaking badly about one's mother. Okay, red flag number 2, and you knew this one was coming. A man speaks badly about his father. So a man's father was his primary male energy in his life. So again, I always encourage, when you're on a first date, tell me about your dad, ask that. It gives you a real insight into the male energy that he will be choosing and embodying. So again, if he says stuff like, yeah, my dad was great, he was really there for me, taught me so much, I love the guy, respect him, I wish I could be like my dad, all good, okay? He's really lucky if that's the case, because again, most people did not get perfect parents. So again, if we're looking at something like, my dad bounced on us, my dad was an alcoholic, my dad hit my mom, just something, again, terrible. What you need to see where he stands with that. A man that still harbors tremendous amount of anger for the way his father behaved, as much as we don't like to admit it, because he's focusing on the anger and the behavior that he did not like, he is actually likely to recreate it, okay? Because what you resist persists. So, and what you judge is generally what comes back to you. So if he's still judging his father for that behavior, you gotta really be careful. Now, if he has looked at his father's dysfunctional behavior and chosen to forgive, chosen to understand, chosen to say, look, that's my dad, I respect him, he brought me onto the earth, but I do not choose to do what he did, even if it's horrible. You know, my dad went around and had kids with 6 women, and I see what he did, I see the mistakes he made, I'm not choosing that for myself. That's a man I would bet on. A man with a real honest head on his shoulders, a real just honest appraisal of, you know, maybe the detriment that he came into life with, but actually perhaps maybe not a detriment, maybe a bonus as well, because looking at a role model like that, I would think that a man really had to learn some self-reliance and to, you know, take care of himself and be strong. So someone that badmouths their father with no compassion, no understanding, no forgiveness, no real evaluation of where their father was coming from, red flag. Again, we don't need to condone the behaviors if they were horrible, but a man just needs to respect, that is my father, that's how I got on the planet. And finally, red flag number 3. He speaks disrespectfully about his exes. Now what's interesting here is you can generally draw a parallel between what he says about his mother and what he says about his exes. Generally, you'll see a pattern there. So again, in a non-judgmental way, just sort of ask, you know, what was your experience of your last relationship? Now, listen, you know, if he says, well, she was a great girl, we just didn't have the same goals, or we weren't going in the same direction, fine, okay, you know, he didn't badmouth her, didn't disrespect her. But if he says something like, oh, she was such a mess, she couldn't get her shit together, you know, she couldn't take care of herself, I had to find her an apartment, I had a blah, blah, blah. You know, listen, I mean, maybe this is the pattern of life where he, in his relationships, he finds messes to take care of. And that's how he gets his emotional needs met. And then after long, you know, how long do you think it'll take for him to project onto you that you're a mess? Or maybe we'll find out that you're not a mess and break up with you to go find a mess to take care of, because that's what makes him feel like a man. Okay? Because as we all know, not all women are messes. So if you keep dating messes, why do you keep finding the messes? I mean, look at women today. There are plenty of women that are just, you know, kicking butt out here and really taking care of themselves. So that's one manifestation. Or if he talks about all of his exes like, oh my God, she was such a bitch, she was so crazy. And the ex before that was crazy and crazy and crazy. Like, are all women crazy? No. This guy might actually be a crazy maker. Now, that's not to say that some women don't act crazy at some times. Nobody's perfect. But again, if they're all crazy, if he's had to file restraining orders and stuff like that, let's really click into what's going on here. Okay, I actually went out with a guy once, and when he talked about his ex, he said that she was crazy. But after the way he treated me, I see why she went crazy. He drove me nuts, okay? So anyway, those are the top 3 red flags when on a date. If someone speaks disrespectfully about their mother, if they speak disrespectfully about their father, or if they speak disrespectfully about their exes. I've actually discussed all of these 3 red flags and many more in detail in my book, so you can pick that up on Amazon or barnesandnoble.com. If you would like more private one-on-one coaching, please reach out to me at jackie@jackieblake.com, and we can discuss a coaching program for you. Hope you guys have a great day. Take care.